Okay, this is definitely not what I do, but here I am anyway. So this story starts back in 1973 when there was something going on called the oil crisis, which a lot of people here probably remember. There's nothing near as bad as what's going on now, but for those of us at the lower end of the employment ladder, it was pretty bad. And so I got laid off from my job here. I'd been working for about 2 years. I started when I was 17 working on masonry buildings, swing stagings, and masonry restoration. It was a pretty cool job, but I got laid off. And my sister was living in California, so I went out. I decided I was going to go out there and visit her. So I went to San Diego. I took the Green Tortoise bus out to San Diego, to LA actually, and then I hitchhiked down to San Diego. And there was no work out there at all. And I was just sponging off of her for like a few months. And finally she kind of shunted me off to some friends of hers. I was living over at their place. And out there, like if you don't have a car or a bicycle or just really a car, because everything is like 20 or 30 blocks or 60 blocks away. You know, to get to a job interview, which I went to many, many job interviews over the months, you'd have to take a bus into downtown San Diego and then one way out to somewhere else, and it would take hours. I mean, it would be like 2 and 3 hours to get to the job interview. So I finally found this job that I thought I wanted to get. It was down near the airport. I took my bus ride down there. It was at Dollar Rent-A-Car. So I get up to the Dollar Rent-A-Car place, and it's kind of looked like what I remember my parents telling me about the Great Depression. There was like 15 guys out the door, you know, waiting for their interview. And I got to about within 5 people of the door, and all of a sudden it was like, okay, you can all leave, go away. And so we all went away, and kind of all these sad sacks just went back to the bus stops. And then a few weeks later, I see another advertisements for the same Dollar Rent-A-Car. So I take my bus, go over to the airport. I'm waiting. This time I get a little closer, but same thing happens, and everybody gets sent away. The third time, which was a few weeks later, I showed up, and I was way at the back of the line, and the manager came out, and he was like looking over the people in the line, and he'd spotted me, maybe because I was tall, and he was like, "Weren't you here before?" I was like, "Yeah, I was here like twice before." He goes, "Okay, all the rest of you get lost. Come on in." So I'm like, okay, so I go in, and that taught me something about perseverance right there, I guess. But I went in, and he hired me, and my job initially was to clean out all the cars, and these cars were like brand new Pintos, you know, and a lot of them were being taken by Marines from Camp Pendleton down to Tijuana. So when I got them back, they were like, you know, there was just beer and vomit and hash pipes and, you know, money and all kinds of crazy stuff in these cars. And my job was to vacuum them out, clean them up, gas them up, oil them up. Now the San Diego airport is I've learned since then, is the second most dangerous approach of any airport in the world. The first being Hong Kong, okay? You have to fly over this mesa, and then the pilots have to drop down really fast, and they come down into the airfield. And it was right in the flight path and back then, what they did for a safety measure was to jettison all of their jet aviation fuel before they hit the runway. So I'd be out there, you know, scrubbing the cars, and all of a sudden it was like, and like, everything's covered with, and it's like iridescent, you know, rainbow flecks all over the cars. And I'm just like, wow, this is really something. So eventually I graduated to chauffeur. Like I was driving this big boat of a station wagon back and forth to the airport picking people up. And I picked up some pretty cool people, like a couple of movie stars. Like I picked up Cliff Robertson, who was in PT 109. He was like my hero because I loved that movie. It was told about Kennedy's life. He was a really nice guy. Gave me a big tip and everything. Ball players, I used to drive them to the Padre Stadium. But the ending of the story is that one day I went to the airport, It was in 75, and I picked up this guy, and he was really nervous. He was like wicked nervous, and he just had like a rumpled business suit and a briefcase, probably 40 years old. And he's in the car, and I can feel like this tension from this guy. He's just so nervous. And finally, we're almost back to the rent-a-car agency, and he just can't keep himself anymore. He says, "Do you know what I did yesterday?" And I'm like, "No, I don't know. What did you do?" "I burned $20 million. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What the hell? He goes, "In the embassy in Saigon, I burned $20 million. We were just burning it all night long before the communists came." And I'm looking at the guy, and he's just like, I said, are you kidding me? Like, I couldn't believe him. And he goes, "No, we were burning it all night long, burning it." And I said, "Wow, man, that's crazy." And then I looked down at this briefcase on his lap. And he's kind of looking at me, you know. And I just looked straight ahead. We pulled up, I let him out, and he disappeared. And that was it.